And so now I have the honor to speak to you, Farai, Kingsway, and interview you a bit, have a chat about you and your music. And and so this is great to hear something about you. And and if I just start with a question, going as how would you describe your music to someone who's never heard you?
I think I would describe my music as personal. It's a personal experience. It's relatable. It's mostly based on everyday feelings. So, like I always say, I'm a everyday musician with everyday fans.
And what what type of music? But how would you describe kind of the sound of it?
I think for the most part, I am a rapper, but as much as I do hip hop, I do dabble in a bit of R&B, alternative pop, and kind of like dancehall. So like I do kind of cross over borders a bit.
Yeah, yeah, that's so cool. And when did you know that you're a rapper? When did you start? How did it start for you?
I actually started out as a singer. I think when I wrote my first couple of songs, they were pop songs, and I had been learning to play the piano at that time, which I never finished learning, so I still can't play the piano. And then my friend introduced me to rap when I was 10 or 11. And that's when I fell in love with it. When I first started writing, my writing was terrible. So like I pretty much wrote a song a day for years until I got better, and it kind of became like an obsession for me. Like figuring out the culture, researching about it, how to get better, and like what makes a good rap song and all that, and never looked back since.
Yeah. What to you is a good rap song? What when do you know that you really have it somehow? Tell me.
I think I think for me, what makes a good rap song is a story, like having a consistent storyline throughout the song, because it's easy to kind of put words together and make them rhyme, but to have uh, a story that has a timeline is the most difficult part of it.
Hmm. Are there's probably, I mean, many influences that you have, but can you name like a few or one really big influence on you in the rap scene that really kind of inspired you to get on with it, or have you had any like this, any kind of inspirational idol or person in the rap scene?
I think I have a lot of people who influence my music. I'm very much influenced by the music that I listen to, and I'm surrounded by a lot of musicians as well. So it's hard to pick and choose, but I'd say like I'm influenced by all music, like whatever I like at that moment. So my sound kind of adjusts itself based on that.
Yeah. If I have no idea kind of how you build the songs. How do you build the tracks around it and the soundscapes and worlds? And I guess you do all of this yourself as well. You're kind of producing it all together, or how do you create your the whole piece, kind of the whole song?
Now I can't take full credit. I don't really fully produce anything. I might co-produce, but I'm fortunate enough to have a producer who understands me and understands my vision. So a lot of the time, what I do is I'll kind of create a reference track. I might make like a little click track for myself to keep the tempo, and then make a reference track with the instruments that I want in it, and then he kind of takes over and makes that vision come true, and then kind of fills in the gaps that I might be there because I'm more artist oriented than producing oriented.
Mm.
So it it really comes down to having a good team for me.
Yeah, yeah. Releases. How do you feel that Kingsway have been kind of developing during the years? What's your journey? How does it feel? I think we have a tendency to, you know, uh, grow as we create and release albums and EPs and everything, singles. How do you feel now if you look back at the stuff you've done earlier?
I definitely think that I've grown for sure. um, I think for me, the biggest part of the growth is growing into my sound because in my early releases, I didn't have what I would call an individual sound. I was making music and trying to find my sonic identity. And then I think that that has kind of started to develop and been developing along the way. So I think the biggest parts that I hear when I listen back from like the stuff that I released back in 2016, 2017, 2018, and I listen to the newer stuff now, is I can hear I more of myself and my personality coming through rather than just a song that I wrote.
Hmm. What inspires you to write a song or do a rap?
Life. I mean, everything that I write about is stuff that I've experienced in one way or another. So it's a form of kind of emotional uh therapy for me. So some people write in journals, some people go for actual therapy, other people go for runs and jogs. I write.
Yeah.
And it's something that I enjoy sharing with the world because then when you have the people who are like, yeah, I've been going through that too, that's like a full circle moment.
The name Kingsway, where does it come from?
Sway was a nickname that I gave myself in high school when I was trying to be cool. So it's something that I personally identified with. And then I just added the king because technically I come from a royal bloodline. Now, that doesn't really mean anything, but I thought that like, it made it more personal. I don't know. We don't really have kings and queens and anything anymore, but like 300 years ago, I'd have been probably like 40th in line for the throne.
Oh,
Well, yeah, it's not even a big deal anymore. It's just something that's probably like passed down to generations by word of mouth, like just so you know, but like there are no privileges or perks or anything. It it's the same as being told you're male or you're female.
yeah. In 5 years' time, where would you want to be with your music?
I would want to be in the O2 Arena, have it sold out, the O2 Arena in England, sold out. I think that's like 50,000 people.
Yeah.
um, probably have won a Grammy, uh, and just gotten to a point where music can be my be all end all. Like that's what I do. That's all that I do, and that's what I can focus my time on. Not have a job, not have another job, and kind of like just create a life out of that.
Mm. How do you? Is it always the words coming first? or do you get kind of a groove, a beat, a sample of something, a riff underneath? How do you kind of start creating the songs? Do you have kind of a typical way, or is there many different ways how you start getting songs together? Or are you working with someone?
I think I think for me personally, 95% of the time, the lyrics come first. So, like, I might hear something and then I get the idea in my head, and then I kind of start to build around that. And then after I finish the lyrics, I'll rework the instrumentation behind it and kind of suit it to what I've written. Now, there is the other 5% where I'll write the lyrics first with kind of an idea of a sound in my head and we'll explore what that sounds like.
Hmm.
But for the most part, the lyrics do come first.
And do you have kind of a lot of people you work together with for the production? Um, how does the kind of the reality of, if you like when you made this last album EP, how did you, is there a lot of, you know, people around you, or is it like a small core group that you work with? How is it for you?
I think for me, it's definitely very much a small group. Um, for the most part, actually, it's the two of us. So it's me and Ishmael. Ishmael's the guy, the brains behind the operation. He
Mm?
produces, I think he's produced everything I've released since the end of last year.
Okay.
So like he's very much my co-producer, and I kind of wanted to have one person kind of in charge of that because that way we grow with the same vision. So it's good to have people who come in with a different mindset and they're like, no, guys, no. Yes, I'm currently at the award week. The awards gala is on Saturday. So that's my focus for this week. That's the short term. In the long term, I'm working on my second album. So I think like I've got half the tracks recorded. Um, and I'm kind of still working to see like the type of sound I want in it. And I'm really taking my time with this one because my first album I probably wrote, recorded, and everything in less than a month.
Wow.
And it I liked it. It sounded good, but this one I kind of wanted to go further with it, so I decided not to rush it. I'm not very good at this whole take your time thing, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
Usually I'm the impulsive musician. I'm like, I have an idea. We're gonna work on it now. We're gonna write it now. We're gonna record it now. And you know what? If you can edit it tomorrow, perfect. I want to hear what it sounds like tomorrow, which of course is unrealistic. Like it works every once in a while, but you can't do that with an album. I think that music videos are extremely important because they breathe new life into a release. If we're speaking in marketing terms, it kind of like after the hype starts to die down, they bring that back. And I think they're important for the artistry because they give you a chance to explain your song in another medium. So, like in a video, you can actually show people what the song is supposed to mean and kind of right any misinterpretations.
How would you describe your everyday life? Is it, yeah, to someone who's, to me, who's never been there?
I think it's, to be honest, it's a wonderful place to live. There's a lot of diversity, not just in the people, but in the cultures and the music as well. There is a lot of very nice people. I think that's one thing that you find that everyone agrees with up on. The people here are very nice, very friendly, and as a result of that, you fit right in. Like for me, this has become home to me.
Yeah.
I feel like I've lived here my whole life, and I've only been here like 5 years, but
Is
it
it
feels like
a good?
this is his home.
Yeah. But is it?
I know I before I came here, I lived in Zimbabwe my whole life, and then I came here to do my degree in business in 2017, which I graduated from. last year, and then now it's kind of been like, finding myself and finding my place in the world.
But it must be very different in Newfoundland comparing to Zimbabwe. Do you feel that this gives you inspiration as well? The kind of your background and coming to a new place, and as you said, finding yourself again in a new reality. Can you get songs out of this feeling?
I do think that it does add to my music and to my creativity, because of course I'm now kind of exposed to more, because like I said, I've now encountered so many different cultures and so many different people that have influenced me and influenced my growth in many different ways, that I think, in my opinion, it's made me a bit more rounded. And it's also given me life experiences that, like, I can safely say not a lot of people have. Because how many people uproot their life twice?
Yeah.
No, to move, I was 17 when I moved here by myself and kind of start figuring out, okay, so who am I? You know, it teaches you a lot. Yeah, I didn't realize how big a step it would be. I was excited at the time. I was like, as far away from mom and dad as possible. I'll be independent. I'll do my own thing. And then like a year in, I was like, maybe independence is overrated.
But in Zimbabwe, your mother tongue is what is this your mother tongue? It's not English, or?
That's a complicated question, because for me, I will say that my mother tongue is English, but my native tongue is Shona. So like I put them on the same level. I say I have two mother tongues.
Oh, that's very nice. Have you ever done rap music in what was it? The name of Shana? No, I didn't hear.
Yeah, Shona.
So, have you ever done any rap lyrics in that language?
I think I've only done one actually, and that was Chatter, which I released last year, I think.
Yes.
And I definitely do want to incorporate more of Shona into my music. Yeah, it's Award Celebration Week.
Well, we will be eager to hear more and more from you and your music, and also over here in Finland. I will thank Kingsway for Farai, and thank you for your time, and good luck with you and your music, and take good care. By people I got out of debt, I might be in it myself if God wasn't God and I wasn't blessed. I don't do well under stress or duress, but I like the press, you know how it gets. I sit on the rap, don't die like it's musical chairs. I got some things to address. I don't want peace, I want a mess. I don't wanna link you ever again. I don't wanna work with crazy again. Told myself I would give you a chance, a bitter pill that I took for the fans. Keep the same energy, you and your friends. Yeah, going